walked into my son's room and froze. The air smelled of something that didn't belong, familiar yet foreign. The creak of the door under my hand sounded loud, sharper than it should have been. My wife was there, half-clothed, tangled in sheets with him. My son's best friend, the boy we trusted, our home. Suddenly, all of it felt like glass under pressure, fragile and ready to shatter. He looked up at me, trembling, eyes wide, mouth opening, closing. I didn't give him a chance. The gun in my hand felt weightless, natural, as if it had been waiting for this exact moment. "Get off her, now," I said. His words were incomprehensible. Muffled apologies, panic, shame, it didn't matter. My fist found him before his brain could catch up. He hit the floor hard. I stood over him, silent, breathing even. My wife slid back against the wall, cheeks pale, chest heaving. I said nothing, just stared. "Bravo, dear. Pack your things," I said softly. "I'll talk to him separately." I sat across from him, legs uncrossed, arms loose, smiling like a predator who doesn't need to rush. "Well," I said slowly, "are you going to tell me how you touched my wife?" He shook, stammered, tried to explain. I listened, calculating every word. My mind was already 3 moves ahead, the board laid bare. This night would not end in screaming or chaos. It would end in control. I replayed the scene over and over, coldly precise. His voice, his fumbling, her silence. Everything fit together in a puzzle I hadn't wanted to see, but now could not unsee. I remembered the small signs I had ignored, the faint perfume lingering on his coat, the way she laughed a little too softly at his jokes, the sudden late nights, whispered phone calls. Denial had been comfortable, complacency had been easy, but the truth was a blade, and it had cut deep without ceremony. I kept my exterior calm. I kissed my son goodbye that morning, smiling, while my mind catalogued every detail: evidence, timing, opportunity, weakness. The investigation was silent. I watched, I listened. Phone records, messages, timestamps, DNA tests. He had no idea. She had no idea. Every day, every act of care, every glance, I stored in memory like ammunition. I didn't rush. Patience was a weapon, and I wielded it expertly. I observed him at school, his nervous tics, the way he avoided certain topics. My wife tried to act normal, brushing off questions, but eyes never lie. They flicker, betray, hesitate. I cataloged it all. Each pause, each glance, each half-smile was a confession I could read without a word spoken. Time stretched. Days felt like months, but I was patient, controlled, detached, calculated. Then it arrived, the proof. A folder, white and clean, with everything laid bare. Photos, screenshots, timestamps, each one a nail, each one an undeniable fact. I called them both into the living room, my voice calm, almost bored. I handed him the folder. He froze, eyes darted to hers, then back to me. My lips curved faintly. "Explain," I said, slow, deliberate. Every word, every touch, every lie. The words stumbled from him. Panic, excuses, remorse, cheap masks that did not cover the truth. She couldn't meet my eyes. She turned pale, her lips quivering, realizing that my patience had been a trap, that my silence had been a cage. I stayed seated, calm, cold, detached, watching, waiting for them to implode under the weight of their own deceit. The confrontation was quiet, surgical. I didn't yell, I didn't cry. I showed them the evidence in its brutal clarity. "Your choices," I said, "have consequences." I watched him shrink into himself. I watched her collapse under the realization that the life she had controlled through lies was now a corpse at her feet. I said nothing more. I didn't need to. They understood. When I finally rose, I felt nothing. No triumph, no satisfaction. Only the still, steady pulse of control. I had orchestrated every move, every revelation. The betrayal had been laid bare, every actor exposed, every lie extinguished. I left them there, stunned, broken, diminished. My son's room, once a space of innocence, now held only the residue of truth. Later, I stood at the window, watching the night deepen. The cold air pressed against the glass. My mind was clear, detached, ruthless in its clarity. Nothing would ever be the same, and I would never allow it to be. The truth had been revealed. Justice had been meted in silence, in calculation, in the slow, deliberate pacing of patience. I walked away from it all, untouched externally, though forever changed internally. I didn't look back. There was no regret, only clarity. And the night swallowed their screams, their apologies, their tears. I felt only the steady, cold rhythm of my own heartbeat, proof that control, once seized, is never relinquished.